Okay, as Matt said in his in the speech, that there was a survey that kids over 5 had said that over 50% of them knew how to speak English well, but there was a survey of 2,055 individuals aged 12 or older from the TGI Puerto Rico study that was interviewed between February and April of 1999, and it concluded that only 12% spoke Spanish, and 50% spoke mostly Spanish, and only 1% spoke Spanish and English, and mostly another 1% said mostly didn't speak English mostly or at all. And also by Charlotte Hill from the U.S. Property Change.org, she said that most Puerto Ricans do not consider English as their sole official language, and that there's never been a non-English speaking state to ever join the Union, the United States. Also, the H.R. 2499, which is the bill that would be looked at to see if Puerto Rico becomes a state. Kristen Taylor and Andre Shi King did an article that said that its stealthy legislation is designed to lead the admission of Spanish-speaking Puerto Rico as a 51st state, thereby making us a de facto bilingual nation like Canada. Also, the referendum would be set up as 2 plebiscites, which would effectively deceive Puerto Ricans into voting for statehood. In the first round of votes, the Puerto Rican people would be given the choice between remaining a U.S. territory or pursuing a different political status. If the majority votes to maintain the status quo, this bill would require that Puerto Rico vote on the same issue every 8 years. And if the majority votes for a different status, a second round of votes would be held where Puerto Ricans would choose either statehood or independence. The status quo of U.S. territory would not even be an option for them. And in other words, the 2 ballots would be rigged to favor the outcome of statehood, overriding the wishes of Americans and Puerto Ricans who want to maintain the current Commonwealth status. Also, Puerto Rican would be the 16th state, if it were to become statehood, to receive disability income. And also in Puerto Rico, 50% of families have incomes less than 10%. Amount of expected income to the U.S. Treasury from individuals in Puerto Rico because of the earned income credit is 0. Also, Puerto Rico's per capita contribution to the federal treasury, if made a state, would come to less than that of any other state in the Union. And at the same time, the per capita benefits would reap the federal aid programs, which would be greater than those of any other state in the Union, which counterclaims Matt's saying that it would contribute very much to the Treasury, U.S. Treasury. And also, again, I mentioned that in 1996, the U.S. General Accounting Office found that if IRS tax rules applied to residents of Puerto Rico, the residents would owe around $623 million in federal income tax before taking into account the earned income tax credit, which is the EITC, and the aggregate amount of EITC would total $574 million. 59% of the population filed individual income tax returns would earn some EITC. 41% of the households filing income tax returns would have positive federal income tax liabilities, and 53% would receive net transfers from the federal government. 6% would have no federal tax liability. More Puerto Rican residents and married couples would file federal tax returns if they qualified for EITC, and the average EITC earned by eligible taxpayers would be $1,494, and this would put a big dent in the amount of money.
We have to cut you off here because you've gone over 4 minutes.
I was done.